Hi, I'd like to welcome you to this very special edition of podcast that we're pre-recording this week so that our entire Nova Vital family can watch. And that means at our Natchitoches facility, at our Ruston residential facility, at Shreveport, and at Monroe. As we expand, we're going to talk to our administrator today. Every day has a theme, and today's theme is acceptance, which is an appropriate theme while we're talking to our administrator, Jim Henry, because he's had to be doing a whole lot of that during these past few months. While we've been building our new facility, a residential facility in Natchitoches, he's been having to make sure that the ship runs steadily here in Ruston, as well as putting the new brand into the Natchitoches facility. So we'll be talking with him about that today. You know, acceptance is one of those ideas that sounds simple until life kind of gives us something that we weren't expecting, that we can't completely control, something that we didn't ask for. So few people have had the opportunity to deal with this kind of acceptance on a daily basis as our administrator, Jim Henry. Maybe take us behind the scenes. What have the last few months been like for you?
You know, for me, it's been a real challenge. I think I personally have worked harder in the last 6 months than I have ever worked in my life. But, you know, that just is a representation of everything that these two buildings have gone through, right? Because there's Lincoln, this well-oiled machine that, you know, has a fantastic team, right? That we all lean on each other to make work every day. And, you know, when you pull me or Brooks or Susan or Amanda or you out of it, and now, or the three of us all at the same time, or the four of us all at the same time, then the machine sort of, you know, it's like going an extra 30,000 miles on your car or truck without changing the oil. So I'm proud of the folks that have done all of the extra work and have put in the extra time here at Lincoln, trying to allow us to grow and prosper to be what we hope Lincoln Nova will be in the end, which is continuously growing, being able to help more people.
Yeah, well, how do you translate the family part and the kind of compassion and love that kind of we bring to our clients to a new facility when you open? How do you do that?
So for me, it's modeling, right? It's, you know, we got our first new patient on Friday of last week down in Natchitoches. And Natchitoches has been screaming for us, please open, please open, please open. There's nothing in this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you $20 out of my pocket, and I'll give you 21s. That should hold you through the weekend, and I'll be better prepared to help take care of you going forward through the weekend. You know, and I could just sort of see the other people that were standing there in the lobby going, oh wow, that's the kind of thing we're going to do, right? By modeling that kind of behavior, I think is you instill a culture of what we have here at Lincoln that I want to translate to Nova in Natchitoches.
And it's interesting to me, I mean, beyond all that, what's interesting to me, and you put this out, when you look at the research, the scientific research, the stuff that I really get interested in when I'm trying to help really kind of conceive of how to help these clients, the part that you're talking about, that just getting them so that they feel like they're some stability, there's a roof over their head, there's food in their stomach, they've got fresh underwear, they're like, just the basic stuff has to be covered in order to get to the mental stuff that they're dealing with. Those things are, so when you look at the research, it's like, oh, we talk about the counseling, we talk about what we're doing, all of that. They cannot function without the other. It's like food, shelter, water.
Yeah, it's Maslow, right?
It's totally Maslow's theory and all of that. So it's funny to, you know, because I'm quite often focused on the clinical and what we're going to do and all of that. And I think, you know, if we understand both sides of that, it gets, then the whole picture comes together, because all the research says, hey, they got to have a job in order to recover.
Right.
They've got to have the basics met and all of that. But I think part of your vision is that we've got to be able to provide that whole array of that, and not only just in residential, but in through that next period, through their IOP, and through that aftercare period, so that they get as much of our support as well as our kind of brain to help them out throughout that entire period.
Yeah, no. So it's been a blessing to have Lincoln open and running as well as it is, because I've been able to to bring some of the new hires from Natchitoches. They're going to be working in Natchitoches, and allow them to come and work here. But the interesting thing about that is it's a blessing for the Natchitoches employees, right? Because they get to see how we do things. They get to see all of those things. They get to work in our software. But because my own experience, when you're training someone how to do something, it is very taxing on yourself, because you don't want to train them wrong. And there may be some things that you do differently that, may not be the exact way that we normally do things. So, from a counselor standpoint, for instance, me bringing a counselor from Natchitoches in over here to work with a counselor at Lincoln so that they'll understand our processes when we open really puts a lot of strain on that counselor. So, I could see it, feel it when I see, when I'm back here for a few days and then down in Natchitoches for a few days. And I can see it, even just in passing in the hall, the additional stressors that it's put on the counselors here, right? And the techs and everyone else, because it's like, okay, if I'm going to train them, I'm going to do this right. And, I've got to get up every hour if I'm a tech and go and make rounds and teach them how to open the door and not wake the client up and, but make sure they're alive, and counseling. These are the notes that we have to do. And I found the best way to do it is you do it at the end of every group, whereas they may not do it every day at the end of every group, but that's the right way to train them. So, it's really put a lot, and I have deep appreciation for the folks that did work with the guys down in Natchitoches, because it makes their job 1,000 times easier when they're not just like we did, flew blindly for 4 months trying to make sure that we were doing the right things.
Yes. Yeah, I think the real beauty of what's happened is that not one client has been left behind during this process.
No, and I was worried about that.
Yeah.
Because when you pull people out that even the counselors rely on a day-to-day basis, they're now put into a role that they're not used to, because we're not here to help defuse some of those situations. So, it's like, okay, they're not here, so I've got to figure out how to handle this, which is personal growth on their part too, right? So it makes everyone's job easier in the long run through that kind of growth,
I wonder if it gets easier each time. I wonder if it'll get easier each time once you okay, we open this, now we're opening that one. I wonder if the processes get a little bit easier.
No, absolutely it will. Because there's, yesterday, we're like, we don't have a postage machine, and it's like, oh my God, we need to add that to the list to make sure next time we open, Lafayette or Lake Charles or wherever the next Lincoln or Nova Vital is, we go, all right, we need postage machines, we need socks and underwear, we need, community cigarettes, all of the things that we need a camera at the front desk, we need all the forms that, the little stuff that I take for granted here because I have such a good sport team that surrounds me, that it just is handled without me being there doing anything to make it happen. But, and then you start sending mail out and you're like, oh wait, we don't even have stamps in the building, much less a postage machine. So absolutely, the next time will be easier and the time after that will be easier than that, so sure.
One of the cool things that we have set up here that I don't think any other rehabilitation facility, I'm pretty sure no other rehabilitation facility knows that today is Acceptance Day throughout the entire community, right?
Right.
And so I thought it was funny that today is our Acceptance Day, and that we're talking with you, because I imagine through this process, and this is for our clients as well, they'll be watching as well. I wonder how you use that kind of that model of acceptance in dealing with a lot of the different issues where you feel like you didn't have control over, or things that you didn't expect in this process.
It's been a real learning process for me to allow acceptance to come into my life, because I'm used to being in control, right? Even though I give away a lot of that control, ultimately it's there, right? So I've had to learn a lot about my own ability to practice acceptance and lean on people and let that happen.
Yeah, and I think that kind of centralizes because the theme like acceptance, it allows us to all, whether it's a staff member or a client, we all know, I think we're all reminded of a theme that's important, whether you're in recovery or not in recovery. We have to accept a whole lot of stuff in the world that we don't really like very much. And people that sometimes kind of aren't really necessarily on the same page as we are. So what's been the most demanding thing for you in opening this new facility?
I guess the most demanding thing for me is turning loose of the things that I value so much in this building. People and, that, like I said, the team that's built here, I've never worked with people like this before. But anyway, that's been the most challenging thing for me, is stepping back and letting people do what they do every day, and realizing that, my job may take me even further away from, it's not just, maybe it's just not that I'm going to be here every day. I get up every morning, look forward to going to work, and I'm going to be here, and it's going to be, we're going to have a morning meeting. It's going to be great, and we'll have our challenges, of course, every day. But recognizing that may change is probably been the most challenging part for me.
So, during this expansion, what have you had to accept that initially you wanted to resist? You said you were like, well, I'm not going to be able to make my morning meetings anymore. It feel like you were away from your family for a while?
I was. But I consider you guys my family.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yes, no, absolutely.
Because we missed you.
Right.
No, it's true. We all have abandonment issues anyway. But when people that you expect to be guiding the ship aren't necessarily there, then you have to figure shit out on your own. I can say that in a podcast, but you have to, and then it's like, okay, but I really miss that sounding board. I really miss that person that's there. So I think that works both ways, right?
No, it absolutely does. For all the creative ideas that come to you, and you always have an answer for me. If I've got questions that I need Susan for, I need Brooks for, I need Chastity for, I need Amanda for, I need Phil for. Yeah, no, this is my family, my personal family life would validate that I'm probably more family oriented here than I am there.
Yeah.
So
many of us are.
The having to accept that those people aren't going to be there for me every day has been, that's been a challenge.
Yeah, I think that's been a challenge on both sides of that, and I think that our ability to get through that has been, that's been where the main struggle has been. So I agree with you. I think on both sides. I think we missed you, and I think that you missed us in that same sense. But we're stronger now because we're able to help more people, and I think that's the real goal. If we can keep our eye on the client, then the other stuff is like, okay, well, this is just going to make it bigger and better for everybody.
No, absolutely. And that is, and that is, Maureen, that's what I lean on whenever I get discouraged is that I am taking it personally, and that it's not about me, right? It's about what we do every day in helping people stay sober for as long as they can, right? And then welcoming them back if they change their mind, right? I mean, we had our first AMA.
Yeah.
And God did he get the kid glove treatment, because at that point there's only 2 clients in the building. And
no,
so,
you're not leaving.
Right. And there's a nurse, there's a tech, there's me, there's Amanda, there's Susan. And I'm sitting next to this poor guy going, look, I just want to leave, you know.
Yeah.
And we're all like, it's 100 degrees outside, you've got a black hoodie on, you're going to leave, and this is your plan, you know. And, you know, were not able to change his mind.
Yeah.
But, you know, I did what I do often, and I gave him my cell phone number, and I said, look, you get out there and it gets too hot and you change your mind, then, you know, pick up the phone and call me, and we'll figure out if we can get you back into the building. And he did. About 5 hours later, he called me at home at 7:30 and said, I made a bad mistake, can I come back? You know?
Yeah.
And I said, have you used? And no, I have not. And I said, okay, then absolutely, we'll get you back and get back on track. And because, you know, that's the message that I want all of our clients to hear, right? And it's about the clients, is that, you know, I hate the phrase relapse is part of recovery, but unfortunately it is in a lot of cases, right? Yeah. And I never want shame to keep somebody from coming back to what I think is the best program, you know, around. Yes. And going, God, I can't go back in there. I just told them they were jackasses, and you know, leave me alone. I don't want to be here, and here I am. So, you know, but circling it back to, as long as I keep the client focused as what we're doing every day. Yeah. And, you know, put my petty feelings away and just move forward with taking care of the clients, then the outcomes will be good.
Yeah. So what keeps you calm enough to make good decisions on a daily basis?
Experience. You know, I mean, it really is. And I had a friend of mine tell me when I went to boot camp that, you know, most things people say, even when they're angry, are not truly directed at you. Yeah. You know, so, you know, when I have even a client that comes up to me and says, you know, harsh words, and, you know, threatens me with physical danger, it's, you know, I don't take it personally, or I try not to. And that, you know, as long as I don't take those things personally, then I find I don't react as much as some people might, you know.
Good. And finally, what are you accepting today, and what are you still hopeful about tomorrow?
So what am I accepting today? Today is that I am going to do the best thing that I can for Lincoln while I'm here in Natchitoches, even while I'm not, right? So the acceptance part for me today is that I'm going to focus my energies on what we just talked about, taking care of clients, making sure, but, you know, the employees are just as important. Yeah. You know, I mean, I keep saying that about the clients, but the only way that care and those clients get taken care of is that we have the right employees in the right place, right? So, and I feel like I do. So I'm happy about that. But I'm also aware that there's people that aren't in the right spots, right? So I have to deal with that on an acceptance basis too, that there's people that may need to not be here working with my clients, and vice versa. And at the same time, there's clients that may not need to be here. So I have to accept that I can't fix everybody today, right?
Yeah. And your hope?
My hope is that, you know, it sounds cliche, but I hope that we do better than we did yesterday. right? My hope is that I can rebuild what we built here in Natchitoches and carry it forward, and then carry it forward. That a program, just like I said, a little bit better than yesterday. The next building will be a little bit better than what we built in Natchitoches. So.
And it's funny, because you were telling me this before. A building's a building. It's about the people that you put into it, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that you would definitely wanted to thank them for what they do on a day-to-day basis.
No, absolutely. I do thank the people that are here and in Natchitoches, and meet. I thank my higher power every night for the people that I do have working here that are able to carry on what we try to do every day. Every day I say those words, before I go to bed. Thank you for the people that are working in Lincoln Nova. Thank you for the people that are coming to work for me in Natchitoches, because they're helping the clients that are there. Help me reach them, and I can't do that without those folks. So that thanks is given every day.
Well, I want to thank you for being a great boss in all of this, and for really making this come true. All right.
Thanks, Maury.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.